This is Triggered.
And you will be.
Guys,
Good
we're
evening.
totally, things are crazy over here. Chantel's work deadlines and my dog's eyeballs and things are nuts. So we're here and we hope to bring you a really good show. Chantel's pretty much half in the bag. I'm going to put it out there because we're an
I'm
honest
half in the
podcast.
bag. And you know what? I feel like it just makes me a better podcaster.
You know what? I'm having a glass of wine. I have my dad and stepmom here, and she makes stroganoff from fucking scratch. Girl, no.
You know what? No, Matt makes a mean stroganoff. It's always so good. Tonight, my stepson was like, Chantal's the cook in this house. And Matt laughed so hard because I'm not the cook in this house.
Matt is canning and fucking...
Y'all, listen, I can do so many things. And I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, I can't do anything. I can do so many things. I'm literally running an election right now.
Okay, and also, Chantel's dryer broke and she took it a fucking part and fixed it.
By myself. I mean, the first night I did need a little bit of help with Matt. The second time, I just did it myself. I can do amazing things. I cannot cook.
No.
I can't do it. I have tried so many times. I have tried to be that woman that just cooks and is like, the hearth of the home. It's not me. It's not me.
Yeah, so they're here from Alberta. It's amazing. I love having parents in the house because they just take care of you like a little kid.
And you know what? Sometimes we need that. On that note, talking about being a kid and feeling at peace, I found on Spotify, if you search up Feed Your Soul, he's an artist. He makes all these songs with solpoggio.
What's that?
Sounds. It's just it's healing frequencies. So I'm big into frequencies.
Yeah.
And it's healing frequencies. Anyways, this evening, after the longest day of my life, I've been up since 4 a.m. working.
Yeah, I know. And you're still probably going to be working after this.
Potentially. There's a strong possibility. So anyway, I put this on and it was just, honestly, it calmed every nerve in my body. And I highly recommend it.
I would be curious to know how many listeners. So this morning I got up at 5:30. I got in the shower. I got out. My dogs are all fucked up. It's a whole thing. And so I was like, I need to do something. So I journaled and I was doing my manifestations and all that. And I had so many hiccups in my day and nothing fazed me.
No.
I was just
honestly, no, it's
fine.
It doesn't affect us. And if you just are like, it's fine.
I'm not about to cry about it.
No, and this is the thing where...
And here's the thing. We have our true crime podcast, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And the reality is, and please don't think I'm an asshole or anything for saying this, but none of us are getting out of here alive.
No, absolutely not.
So if y'all want to start a podcast, start a podcast. You want to fucking become an artist, be an artist.
Damn straight.
Because at the end of the day, the shit that we cry about and stress about, it doesn't matter.
Oh, it is so
important.
It's so true. Circumstances do not matter.
No.
And in my manifestation journey, this has always been a thing where I'm just like, right, your circumstances only matter if you say that they matter.
100%.
If you go through your life and you're like, no, this doesn't faze me, it doesn't affect me, it won't.
Because really, okay, my favorite season of my life, I remember moving out on my own, having my own little apartment. My rent was $450 a month.
I know.
Okay? So small. I had nothing. I had a futon, a bed, a TV. That was it.
Yeah.
And I can think back to having some of my most peaceful moments when I had nothing.
Yes.
I've owned custom-built homes with pools and hot tubs. I'm now again in an apartment, and I am the happiest I have ever been. So
preach it.
Wherever you are does not define your worth.
That's right. That's
I'm a
right. That's
happy
right.
gal.
Aw, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're happy.
I also did something to Chantal last night.
Oh, yeah, tell everyone
Okay.
because this is hilarious and
So
amazing.
we were talking about the TikTok trend that's like, this is my emergency contact. And like, everyone's like,
Yeah.
whatever. And I was like, Chantal's like my emergency contact.
Mhm.
And I said, and I can tell you right now why. Because if I call Chantal and I say, I need you to come to my house right now, she doesn't say why, what's
Nope.
going on, what do you need. She doesn't ask a question. And my dad was like, "Are you sure?" And I will call her and put her on speaker and I will show you. I'll
Yeah.
prove it.
Yeah.
So it's like 8:45. Now Chantel's usually in bed at 8. So I'm like, "Oh, this
Yes.
is going to be interesting." So she answers, she's like, "Hello." I'm like, "I need you to come to my house right now." And she goes, "Okay, I'm coming." And I was like, "No, no,
Yeah.
no, no, don't get out of bed." Just kidding. Psych.
And funny enough, like last night, we weren't in bed at 8:45. We were out looking for my stepdaughter's phone that she dropped in a snowbank. No, absolutely. Like I would
She didn't even
have
ask. She was just
no,
like, "Okay."
mm-mm,
No, and same. If you called me, you were like, "I need you right now." I'd be like,
right now.
"Okie dokie."
All right, here I come. Okay, so I do have a story for you today. And I know normally I start with a question, but I'm not starting with a question today. Part of the reason why is this case has me fired up, re-fired up, because I was fired up about it when it first happened. Just doing the research into it and learning a little bit more about like the details, I am re-fired up and I'm just ready to tell you the story.
All right, let's go. Where are
All
we?
right,
Where are we at?
get ready. It's December 15th, 2017.
Oh, so this is a recent.
Uh-huh. It's a Friday morning in Toronto.
Oh yeah, I love me a good Canada.
There was there was even a bit of snow, which I mean, listen, if you're listening from Toronto, I'm so sorry for the snow you've experienced this year. Welcome to Ottawa weather.
Yeah,
But normally there isn't. Like usually I'll go to Toronto January, February, and it's almost like my tropical vacation because
yeah.
there's hardly any snow. I walk around in like sneakers and I'm thrilled. But
Toronto's
anyway,
like a whole other place.
it's a whole nother level.
It's a world, a whole
Yeah,
world.
yeah. But there was a bit of snow in December 2017. The Sherman's real estate agent, Elise Stern, is giving a tour of their ridiculously expensive mansion. The price tag on this was $6.9 million.
Woo!
Yeah.
The
This,
Shermans got it.
I know. This is a 6 bedroom, 9 bathroom home.
Wow.
Elise pulls up, and the housekeeper and plant lady are there. They had
Plant
us.
lady.
Yeah, I know.
I
I
can't
know.
get
I'm
over
like,
it.
I desperately need a plant lady because we kill everything that comes into this
I
home.
need a plant first.
You do need. And you know
Step
what?
one.
Honestly, your condo would be so great for plants. You
No,
get
because
so
I
much
live
light.
in here.
Girl, you get so much light. We could hang some. You know
On
what?
what though? I have like those massive ceilings. I'm all windows.
I'm gonna come do a whole like spring thing in your apartment.
Well, then you're committed because if I touch them or try and water them, they're dead. So this is a relationship now.
All right, back to the Shermans. Back to the
Okay.
Shermans. They had a sort of staff, but they didn't live at the home. They just came on regularly scheduled days, which, like, dream come true. Elise also notices that Barry and Honey's vehicles are in the driveway. See, she had been trying to call them since 8 a.m. to tell them she had a very interested buyer, but she couldn't get through to them. Knowing Barry and Honey well enough, she made the decision to set up the viewing anyways. She knew they wanted to sell, they were serious about selling,
Well, if you have an
and
interested buyer on a $6.9 million house,
well, and that's just it. And it
yeah.
almost sounds like they weren't having, again, like you're not having a whole bunch of people come through
No,
at
no.
6.9 million. So she was like, I know they want to sell the house. I know they haven't answered their phone. But she also knew that if they just showed up and Honey and Barry were home, they would be thrilled that they were there with potential buyers. As she passed the cleaner and the plant madam, she asked if they had seen the Shermans.
The plant madame.
That's exactly what I would want to be called if I was taking care of plants. Like,
I
I
will.
am the plant mistress in this house.
I love it. Fuck yes, girl. Get it.
So anyway, she asks them, "Oh, have you seen like our Honey and Berry home?" And they're like, "No, we haven't seen them." She's like, "Amazing. perfect. She takes the couple and their real estate agent through the amazing home, through all the bedrooms, all the bathrooms, all the beautiful, like, I imagine they had like multiple living rooms from what I've seen. It was just this gorgeous home. Now, I want you to understand the layout of this custom built home. Honey and Barry designed and had built in the 80s. The upstairs was this mansion of all mansions. With a bit of a modern twist, they had vast open spaces with unique pieces of art and architecture. The basement is where they had a media and rec room, the garage, and behind the garage on the far side of the house was an indoor pool and hot tub.
Oh, okay. I'm moving in.
Oh,
Oh,
it's so funny. Actually, I thought of you so much when I was doing this episode because it almost looks like they had it built in the 80s and it was almost frozen in time. Like it's a
mm,
very 80s, the
I'm
whole
a,
feel of it.
I am an 80s
Oh, I know.
whore.
Guys, it doesn't matter if it was the same in 2011, it was the same in 2021, 2025. I get into Ashley's car and we are jamming out to some 80s tunes.
80s, 90s. The other day, I literally was, you know that fucking song "Hold On" by Wilson Phillips. Hold on for one more day. No, anyone? Anyways, okay. So
Anyone,
Wilson Phillips. It was like 90s. I was in it the other
you're feeling
day.
it.
I was singing with my windows open at the sunroof. It was a nice
Always.
winter day, and I was going, and these people were looking at me, and I thought, you don't even know. You're
I
missing
feel like
out.
I feel like when I so you're 80s, when I drive by anywhere, like I'm listening to the most raunchiest rap music, and I feel like people look at me like, sorry, what did your car just say to me? And I'm like,
I'm, George Michael and fucking Taylor Dane and
I'm like, I like pills, I like
Jan
drugs.
Arden. Yeah, yeah.
I can't. Anyway, so back to the Shermans. So Elise is taking this couple around. She's showing them around. She brings the couple and their agent down the spiral staircase that leads to the basement, to the media room. And the first thing she notices at the bottom of the stairs is a pair of driving gloves and what looks
Weird.
like the home inspection report that
The
Elise
home
had
inspection?
asked. Yeah, so Elise had recently asked Barry, she was like, hey, you need to get a home inspection. The house is
Yeah.
quite a few years old. Can you get that for me? So she picks them up, and it's a little bit weird to her because, again, Barry and Honey, first of all, if you haven't picked up on it yet, are ridiculously wealthy.
Yeah.
Ridiculously wealthy.
So they've got their
So
shit
they've
together.
got their shit together. So she's a little bit surprised that there's gloves and a piece of paper on the floor, but she picks them up and she's like, whatever.
She
She
picked up the
carries on.
gloves.
She did. Of course she did,
Huh.
because, again, nothing's wrong yet, Ashley.
Fair. Fair.
So she picks them up and carries on with the clients down the long hallway that leads to the pool room.
A pool room. Fuck
I know,
off.
right? Like, come on. I really want you and our listeners to feel this moment that I'm about to describe to you.
Okay.
Elise opens the pool room door, and the overhead lights are not on, but the light inside the pool that illuminates the water is. So it's this like eerie, almost green light.
Okay.
At the very end of the pool are these metal railings that help someone in and out of the water.
Right, right. Because it's a lap pool, right? You had said?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Elise looks over and sees Barry and Honey, and she's
Oh,
somewhat startled. She says initially it looks like they're doing yoga, but they're stuck in place. And she
no.
seems to think that there's something tied around their necks, even.
No.
She says her report is she just knew something wasn't right. And she was even going to call out to them and be like, hey, I didn't know you guys were home. And she said literally something like stopped her from speaking. They are stuck in place and there's something tied around their necks, she notices. She knows that something is not right. She says in her witness statement that, like, she was about to call out to them. She was about to be like,
Okay.
oh my God, I didn't know you guys were here.
But she
And
didn't.
she said literally it was like something stopped her, like almost covered her mouth. And I
And there's
laughed.
people with her.
There's people
She's
right
showing this
behind her,
fucking house.
literally right behind her, waiting to come into the pool room. Okay.
Oh God.
And I really feel for her in this moment because, like, this is such a me thing that I would do. Her brain is not fully processing what she just saw, and she goes into like business survival mode.
Yeah.
She shuts the door right away and backs out of the pool area. And she says to the clients, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I forgot this room is closed right now. We can't go in there, but I'll send you pictures." And they're like,
Oh my God. And
"Yeah,
so the
yeah,
trauma, she just, like, she saw some
yeah, yeah,
shit. She went into business mode, although she's pretty sure she just saw the sellers dead in the
yeah."
pool.
Like, and it's so interesting because, well, you'll see why it's so interesting, but like, I get it. Like, she was just like, "No, I have a job to do. I need to do my job." So she tells the sellers, like, "Okay, that's the end of the tour. I'm so glad that you were able to come today," and ushers them out of the house.
It's weird, though. I find that weird.
Do you? No, see, I
Yeah.
don't at all. Like, I would be the exact same.
No, no.
Because again, she's like, "Let's not panic anyone." She actually said initially she thought they were doing yoga.
Oh, no, no. I'd be panicked. I would be like, first of all, I'd be like, oh, I am so sorry. I didn't realize you were here. And then I'd be like, oh my fucking God, they're not doing yoga. Call the authorities. Call
Okay,
fucking.
well, it's so interesting that you say that because this next part is probably going to piss you off a little bit.
Okay,
So
go.
Elise brings the clients upstairs, is like, "Oh my God, okay. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day. Bye bye." Closes the door. She turns to the gardener and the house cleaner, and she's like, "Hey, something's wrong with Barry and Honey. They're in the pool. I need you to go check it out."
She sent the staff.
I know, which I'm like, could we not? Could, like, as if, and I just imagine this poor cleaner and gardener are just like, "Oh, for
I don't
fuck's
get paid
sakes."
enough for this
Yeah,
shit.
yes, yes. Like, come on. They head downstairs because they're like, "Oh, whatever." They turn on the overhead light in the pool, and Barry and Honey Sherman are visibly dead next to the pool.
Shit.
They run upstairs and they're like, "Oh my God, you have to call 911." Now,
Yes.
there are tons of questions in this story. This is the first one that gave me a bit of a huh,
Okay.
because Elise does not call 911. Elise calls Mary.
Who's Mary?
Mary is Honey's sister.
You called her sister?
So she calls Mary. Also, Mary's in Florida. We're in Toronto. Elise calls Mary, and I mean, we don't know exactly the conversation that they had, but from Elisa's witness report, she said, "Well, I called Mary because I knew this was going to be a huge media story and I wanted her to be able to tell their children before the media did." Which, okay, so a part of me fully understands this.
No, there is no
A
world.
part of me, here's the thing. Here's the thing that always gets me with people who don't call 911 right away. Unless you have gone up to the body, checked for a pulse,
Yeah.
checked for breath, you don't know that they are 100% dead.
But
So
also, that seems very odd to me because,
it
like,
is very odd.
there is no situation. Okay, so say I walk in your house
Yeah,
and I see you're visibly dead. I'm not
yeah,
calling Matt.
no.
I'm calling 911.
Immediately. And that is so, like, this has never sat well with me because get this. And it wasn't like she called Mary, had a quick convo with Mary, and then called 911. It took her an hour and a half to call 911. What if, and okay,
No.
so we find out later that they are definitely, definitely dead. But what if they weren't?
And also, what if
What
the
if they
fucking
fucking
killer was in
weren't?
the house?
I know there's
There's
so many
so many.
questions here.
It's
And
very weird.
I have a really hard time understanding that it took you an hour and a half to call 911.
Because initially I'm like, was she trying to cover up a crime? But then no, because why would she
Mm,
bring viewers in? And then
yeah.
also, then there would be no motive because if she sells the house, she gets a commission. You're not selling the house for dead people.
This woman has no motive. It's just, this is such a confusing part of it where I'm like,
Okay.
friends and neighbors, listen up. If you find someone who, whether you think they're dead or not,
Just
call
call.
911. Call right away. Do not call anyone else. Call 911 first Be
Then
like,
make your
hey, I need some help, and then make your family calls or whatever you have to do. Anyway, that's what she does. The police come, the police show up, paramedics show up, and both Barry and Honey were confirmed deceased. They can tell that they had been dead for a bit of time, but it was difficult to determine exactly their time of death at this point because remember, they're next to the pool. So think like humidity, warmth, it's not great.
no.
But here's the thing that's creepy and highly disturbing about this case. Barry and Honey were not just lying dead next to the pool. They were posed.
Like yoga
Remember?
poses, like downward dog.
Remember earlier I told you there was that Elise had seen something around their necks?
Yeah.
Investigators find two of Barry's belts tied around each of their necks and the other end tied to the pool railing. But
Okay,
that's
so
not
are they
all.
hung? Like, are they
Get
hanging?
get ready. Barry's legs were stretched out in front of him with his right leg at a 90-degree angle and his right foot resting on his left knee. So think like that chill grandpa pose.
Yeah. Like yeah, one leg up, just, yeah,
Yeah. Barry's jacket was pulled down, revealing his shoulders, kind of like those tops we wear in the summer where like
yeah.
there's sleeves, but your shoulders are exposed.
That's weird for a dude.
And Barry's glasses are sitting perfectly perched on his nose like they always were.
So he was literally killed and then put into this position because there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
Number one, if you got killed or hung yourself or whatever, your glasses aren't sitting properly on your face and then you're not crossing
No.
your legs fucking crisscross applesauce fucking
Even
no.
just even just the glasses themselves tells me
A lot.
somebody put those on your face. No
It's
matter how
fucking
you
weird.
died.
And the shoulder thing is giving me the
I know.
ick.
So Honey was in a very similar position, with her
Okay.
shirt pulled down, revealing just the top of her shoulders and her
What is
legs
with the
straight out in front of her.
shoulders?
I don't know.
That's
I don't know.
fucked. Okay. Do you know or do you not know?
I don't know. The
Oh,
shoulder
you don't
thing, we
know.
never find out. No.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, and I don't know if you got this from my social media post, but this
We're
is not a
unsolved.
solved case at all. We don't
This
know
is
who did
nuts.
this.
Okay, this reminds me of the movie Seven.
Oh, interesting.
You know,
Interesting.
like this almost
Yeah.
feels like they're trying to project a message. There's a
Okay.
message.
So it's so interesting that you say that because this next part that I'm going to tell you gave me the most chills and honestly is one of those things that keeps me up at night. If I'm laying in bed and I can't fall asleep, I'm thinking about this because
Okay.
the Shermans were posed in almost the exact same position of a sculpture they had in their media room just outside the pool area.
What?
It is fucked.
There's a sculpture in their house of two people
Yeah,
in these
literally,
exact.
literally right outside the pool room. They
Do you
are
have a picture of this?
posed. I do. I'll show you. They are posed in the exact position as the sculptures.
I
It's
am.
fucked.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a bit about the Shermans.
Okay.
First up, let's talk about Barry. Barry was the owner of Apotex, which is easily Canada's largest and oldest generic pharmaceutical company. Basically, if you live in Canada and you end up taking any kind of generic drug, they most likely came from Apotex.
Oh, so they're like fucking rich, like they're drug dealers, but for legal.
Girl, wait till I tell you.
They got that drug money.
At the time of his death, Barry was worth nearly $5 billion.
That doesn't even compute in my
No, I
world.
know. I know. It's insane. Honey was a philanthropist and loved doing work for charities of all kinds. She was very active in the Jewish community. They were a Jewish family, a Jewish couple. At the time of their deaths, Barry was 75 and Honey was 70.
So these are like seniors. And also, okay, so they're Jewish. Hate
Hmm.
crime, possibly. I'm
Maybe.
curious to know, was this sculpture a Jewish sculpture?
I don't believe it was like when you see it, you'll see it's very like artsy fartsy.
Mm,
It was
mm-hmm.
something that they were like, and you know what? This is something that Honey and Barry were all about. Like their whole house was full with of like just random, very odd art.
I love that.
I know you do. I know you do. And you would love their home because it was very, yeah, just very like artsy fartsy.
Cool.
So the Sherman's death obviously shook the community. The news was making headlines by 4 p.m. that day. The
Shit.
headlines read, Barry and Honey Sherman were found dead in their home.
Okay.
Even the prime minister made a statement, as did multiple other politicians and celebrities whose lives had been touched by Barry and Honey. Friends and family were obviously in a state of shock, and everyone at this point, everyone all they knew was Barry and Honey were dead. They were found dead in their homes. So rumors were actually circulating amongst their friends. They were saying, like, okay, it must have been carbon monoxide poisoning. It's the only thing that makes sense that would have killed both of them at once.
2017, though, you have carbon monoxide monitors, you have
I know,
that
but you know
stuff.
what? It's crazy. The statistics of like carbon monoxide poisoning, even today, is astounding. Like,
Really?
alarms fail. Their family and friends were like, what the hell happened? I can't believe they're dead. This is awful. The media was in an absolute swarm outside the home well into the night. At 8 p.m., the police made a statement saying they wanted to put the community at ease and that they were not looking for a suspect. But they
Okay,
just left it at that.
they had belts tied around their necks. They were posed. What do you
Oh, this is
mean?
gonna listen, this is going to infuriate you for a bit.
Oh, God, what?
Joe Warmington at the Toronto Sun said, when we are told people have died unexpectedly and they're not looking for a suspect, it generally means suicide.
100%.
Immediately, headlines start popping up. Murder, suicide.
Oh my God, no.
I know. I know. So the Sherman children are not about this.
Because
They're
they have
pissed.
obviously some faculties about them, because you don't
Yes.
have to be a fucking detective to know that obviously something else went down.
Right. So they don't think for a second this was a murder suicide. That is insane to them. Like they're right from the
That's
get-go,
insane to anyone who has a fucking
they're
brain.
like, first of all, mom and dad had plans. Like they just had a brand new granddaughter. Like literally some of their last photos is them with this like brand new baby.
And like,
Uh
I'm not saying that because you're rich or because you're successful or whatever, that you're
mhm.
not capable of a mental health issue and suicide or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Oh, no, absolutely
the
not.
facts aren't facting here. Like,
Exactly.
hello?
So when the family is asking the police, like, how did you come to this conclusion that it's a murder suicide? There's like, well, there was no forcible entry. So the kids are like, let me tell you something about my parents. That if you had stopped for 3 seconds and asked anyone, they would have told you. Barry and Honey were extremely friendly to the point where one of the kids said, you don't understand. Anyone could have showed up at mom and dad's door, knocked on the door, and literally been like, hey, could I use your washroom? I'm on a walk and I really gotta go.
But
And Barry and
also,
Honey would have let them in.
they also have a house that's listed for sale. So
Yes. So they have a
there's a
lockbox,
chance. They also, someone could knock on the door and say, "Hi, I'm in the neighborhood. I saw your house is
anything.
for sale." Also, they have
Yes.
staff.
Yes, yes. There's so many
Hello?
things here. There's so many things here. And like,
And 90% of murders are people you know.
yeah, exactly. Basically, the kids are like, no, we don't accept your stupidity. It wasn't a murder suicide. Get out of here. Also, another thing that one of the kids brings up when they're talking is please keep in mind that Barry owned Apotex, a drug company. He had at his disposal at any point in time enough drugs to literally kill the entire Toronto Metropolitan Zoo. If it was in your head that you were going to kill yourself and kill your wife, why the fuck would you go through the trouble
That
of
makes no
whatever the
sense.
fuck this is? Yeah.
No, no.
So the family is like, no, we don't accept this. Now, keep in mind, I've already told you how wealthy the Shermans are. So the family is like, no, absolutely not. We do not accept this. They hire their own investigative team. They hire Brian Greenspan, the leading lawyer investigator in Canada, and he hires a team of retired homicide detectives. Not only
Yes.
that, but they order their own autopsy with their own medical examiner. Like they're not fucking around.
This is the dream team. These guys are coming out of
I
retirement.
know.
They're fucking on.
They're like, we literally have nothing else to do. This is
Let's go.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah. And this is all they've done because they're retired.
exactly.
Oh
Exactly.
man. What did they find?
Now, the initial autopsy indicates that Barry and Honey died of ligature neck compression. At this time, the belief was that Barry had hung his wife and then hung himself. But Dr. Jim Cairns had an issue with this theory that the initial autopsy had. See, the Shermans were sitting, propped up when they were found. The doctor explains that in order to die by hanging, your feet almost always need to be off the ground, or there needs to be enough distance between you and the ground that there is enough weight to cause compression to the point of strangulation.
You can't hang yourself on the ground.
No, like they're literally sitting on the ground. He's like, there's actually no way, this is impossible. Another interesting piece to this, the team performing the second autopsy also surmised that it was not the belts that killed the Shermans. It was something skinnier than the belts. So this immediately eliminates this whole murder suicide bullshit because you can't die and then switch out the belts. So this team calls the family and they're like, I'm so sorry to tell you this. I'm sure you already know, but we're ruling this a double homicide. Like, there's no question about it. The news is leaked to the media almost immediately, and the headline doesn't even need to say their names. Papers are printed that simply say they were murdered, and everyone knows who it is. The Toronto police are looking a little silly. Even the Sherman's son, during the funeral, before he delivers his eulogy, is like, hey, Toronto police, what are you doing? So it's almost 6 weeks later after they found the bodies, and the police finally hold a press conference announcing they're changing their findings to a double homicide. For 6 weeks, police weren't looking for a suspect. For 6 weeks, and we know that the first 48 hours are completely vital during something like this was fucking thing because they
Fuck.
were like, it's a murder suicide. Like, we know what happened here. So think about how much evidence has been lost.
Oh
Everything
god.
from the scene, there were no fingerprints taken, camera footage from like neighbors gone.
This is nuts.
It's a fucking mess. It's a fucking mess. I mean, the plus side is police were finally on board and were finally conducting an investigation. They descended on the Sherman home and not only searched the roof of the house, but the sewer system running to and from the mansion. It was noted that the Shermans had experienced a terrifying break in a year before their deaths. Someone had actually broken into their skylight on the roof and lowered themselves into the Sherman home with the desire to steal jewelry and money. There wasn't a ton of info about this break in, but it was worth noting as it explains the extensive roof search. Like, apparently, police were up there for days and days and days. During the search, they found nothing. But they did release that it seemed like Barry and Honey were targeted, which no shit. Of course, they were fucking targeted.
They're
This didn't,
billionaires.
right? And this obviously wasn't a robbery gone wrong or anything like that. All right, so now we're going to look at the theories of who done it because there's quite a few.
Did they ever gather any evidence that they could use?
So, another interesting part of this case is that in Canada, it's actually ridiculous because police have the upper hand in terms of what they release to the public and what they don't.
Well, we're completely
And
censored in Canada.
exactly. And they can basically like lock everything down, which is crazy, but here we are. So, the first theory is the pharmaceutical industry is volatile AF. Although Barry and Honey literally gave millions away to charities, Barry had a knack for using the law to get him what he wanted. I don't know if I would call Barry, yeah, he was probably a bit shady. I don't know if I would call him shady. He just knew the law and he knew how to use it for his benefit. So here's the perfect example. And this is not the only example, but it's the one that I'll use. The house they were living in was designed and built for them in the 80s. The cost at the time of the build was about $2.3 million. Barry actually recouped almost the entirety of the cost of the house because he sued the builder for poor building practices. And
What?
yeah. And this was not his first rodeo. Christine Dobby from the Financial Post reported on a story that had been going down just before the murders. She reports that when Barry first got his start in pharmaceuticals, it was when his uncle Lou died, and Barry offered to buy his uncle's pharmaceutical company, Empire Labs, from the estate. Now, Lou and his wife, Barry's aunt and uncle, had 4 young boys. Decades later, those 4 boys actually tried to sue Barry for $1 billion or a share in his company Apotex. Their claim was that there would be no Apotex without Empire Labs.
Oh,
Now,
so this is becoming like a big money fucking hungry.
this honestly, like researching this story a little bit deeper this time around, if you've seen the show Succession, this is real life Succession. I shit you not. I'm not going to, I got like cross eyed looking into the legal documents of this case. I am going to give you the most Valley Girl layman's terms I possibly can.
We like it.
Yeah, I know, I know. So, the sale of Empire Labs was contingent on the 4 boys having a stake in it. So Barry had included a clause in the sale that said once the boys were 21 years old, they would have a job with Empire Labs, and once they were 23, they would be given a share of the company. If this was all contingent on if Barry still owned Empire Labs, this clause would be completely void if Barry sold the business, which of course he fucking did.
He did?
Of course he did. The lawsuit brought against Barry was the 4 boys basically saying, whoa, he may not have Empire Labs anymore, but the only reason he's a multi-billionaire is because he got his start with my dad's company, and we want a piece of that. Now, it's only 3 months before Barry and Honey were found dead. The judge threw out the case and sided with Barry. The
Really?
Yeah, the boys would be getting nothing. And not only that, but another judge, only a week and a half before the murders, ordered the boys to pay all of Barry's legal fees incurred during the process, a bill totaling $300,000.
Okay, but if this was like a crime of passion or something like that, you would assume they would just go in, shoot them, and get out. You're not posing a body.
So I'm going to tell you some things that might change your mind about that.
Okay.
The judge says, you know what? Not only am I throwing this case out, you boys owe him 300 grand for lawyers' fees. Barry was pissed. He was pushing for nearly $1 million in legal fees from the boys, making their reasonable 300K lawsuit look like pudding. How mad would you be if your billionaire uncle, who made his fortune off of your father's death, was coming after you for $1 million that you don't have?
That's
Would
wild.
would that make you mad enough?
Barry, come on. You're a
All
billionaire.
right,
Chill.
this gets even messier. Carrie, one of the 4 boys, Barry's nephew, went public. And I mean public, public. He was doing interviews left, right, and center and saying the same thing in every single one. He knew for a fact that Barry Sherman killed Honey Sherman and then himself.
Mm,
So, of course, the question was asked, Carrie, how do you know that? And Carrie had quite the story, Ash. He said that on multiple occasions, Barry had talked about killing Honey. Uncle Barry had actually asked Carrie at least twice in the 90s to help him do it. Carrie says, and I agreed to do it, but at the last minute, Barry backed out and it never happened.
Carrie, you're looking
Which,
sus.
I know, which I'm like, Carrie, what the fuck did you just say publicly? Did you just admit to plotting to kill someone? So, scorned Carrie was now telling the story that Barry had wanted Honey dead for years. Carrie tells the Fifth Estate in 2018 this whole crazy story, and the Fifth Estate is like, bet, and asks him if he will do a polygraph on the episode.
And
And Carrie says, of course I will. But not surprisingly, he fails fucking miserably. Anytime Carrie was asked about the murder for hire plot, the polygrapher saw huge spikes indicating lies. When Carrie was confronted about the results of the test, he's like, well, maybe I'm not remembering all the facts. I mean, I do have a long history of drug and alcohol abuse.
Is he insane?
I'm telling you, he is quite the character. So, okay, Carrie, maybe there's something there, maybe there isn't. He and his brothers were certainly on police's radar, but remember, without evidence, you have nothing.
This is crazy.
I know. So, next on the list of suspects hits a lot closer to home. Now, I'm going to tell you the facts about this, but I also want to say that I'm not going to be using names for a couple of reasons. Barry and Honey's kids have always tried to stay out of the media spotlight. They don't like it. They want to carry on with their lives in private, and I respect that because whether we like it or not, you are innocent until you're proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
The Sherman's son, we're going to call him Jay for this episode, had started up multiple businesses over the years. It's thought that Barry most likely put up hundreds of millions of dollars in capital for his son's startups. Now, Jay was getting frustrated with dad. He thought Barry, at 75 years old, needed to start slowing down. But Barry wasn't interested in that. He was always on the go, always buying and building and so forth. And Jay thought he needed to start planning for his succession.
Or like maybe don't worry about what your dad's doing.
So there are actually emails and texts between Jay and Barry that are in the book Billionaire Murders by Kevin Donovan. I read them all. They go back and forth about investments he was making into one of his BFF's companies, Frank D'Angelo, and Jay was not impressed. Barry was losing lots of money to Frank, and Jay wanted him to stop funding him. There were also many conversations between father and son where Jay was pressing his father for a plan. He was like, who is taking over? Who's going to be your successor? Like, what is going on? He was just, and Barry wasn't slowing down. Like I said, he was just going harder every single day. And Jay was convinced that Barry was pissing away his and his sister's inheritance. I wanted to take a minute and just talk about like kids' entitlement, whether your parents are rich or not. Here's the thing, that is not your money.
No.
I'm sorry. I know that you feel like you are entitled to it. That's actually not your money. What your parents decide to do in their last years of life with their fucking money that
Yes.
they worked their whole lives to get is their prerogative. You can't be calling your 75-year-old dad and being like, slow down your spending, Barry. Like,
That's insane.
there's just so much entitlement in that where I'm just like, no. Like if when your parents pass away and they leave you an inheritance, that's a gift. That
Yeah.
is a gift. It
And
is not
that's
an
a gift that very few
expectation.
people receive.
And that's just it. And this whole thing, I was just like, oh my God. And it's kind of sad to me. I don't know, where the Sherman kids stand on this, but it's kind of sad to me because I think like because I've read all the emails and all the texts, and it's just like, oh my God, you spent so much time of your dad's final years literally just like bitching about what was going to happen when he dies. Like, you think they want to talk about that? So Jay had to actually started trying to convince his sisters at the time to vote Barry off the board at Apotex. But family and friends says this was just Jay and Barry. Jay would never actually hurt Barry. I fell down the Reddit hole hard on this one, and there
Oh,
are
Reddit
hundreds upon
gets me all the
oh,
time.
there are hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of theories floating around out there about what happened. If I had to pick a theory, Carrie rubs me a weird way. His
Yeah,
story
he
is
came he
weird.
came up with that weird story.
His story is weird, and the whole everything with the lawsuit, like it's pretty messy. So if I had to pick one theory, I would say the whole thing with Carrie and his brothers is weird. And I don't think, like, I've watched all the interviews with Carrie, his brothers never speak out publicly. I don't think Carrie himself did anything, but I have a sneaky suspicion maybe the brothers had something to do with it.
I don't know. I don't like any of these theories because the posing.
Okay, so it's so interesting that you say that because to me, this was personal. And here's why. The way they were killed, the way their bodies were posed, it almost sends a message. And you mentioned that earlier in the episode. To me, they were positioned exactly like the expensive statues in their media room. And I feel like that was deliberate. Those statues cost the Shermans thousands of dollars, no doubt, and arranging their bodies the same way felt like a statement. In the end, all you are is your wealth, and in death, you're no different than the art that decorates your home. Like that feels so personal to me.
Yeah, when you put it like that, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, like it feels so personal to me. I want to know what our listeners think. Big time.
Tell us your theory.
Yeah, I want to know your theory, like, and look into it a little bit deeper, like billionaire murders. There's actually a Crave documentary that I also watched, that highlights, it's mostly Kevin Donovan, and he did write the book on these. There's still a $10 million reward for information that leads to answers in this case. Nothing has ever come forward. Nothing
So
has ever come
probably
to light.
because the person inherited a lot of money.
Maybe,
I don't
maybe.
know.
I don't know either. So, yeah, this is like one of those cases that's just, it continues to blow my mind. And it's so unfortunate that, I mean, I think if this had been treated as suspicious as a murder, as a double homicide from day one, we may have the answers we're looking for, but I don't think we're ever getting them. Unless someone has like a deathbed confession or I don't know. I don't
Well,
know. But
Sherman kids, I'd be suing the police.
I know. And I do believe there are quite a few lawsuits that have come forward from this. I don't know I didn't spend a shit ton of time like looking into the lawsuits surrounding this case. But yeah, like it just seems like things would have been so different had they processed the scene, had they taken fingerprints, had they done all of the things, assuming that this was a murder, we might be in a totally different position. But they
Negligence,
lost all that
100%
evidence.
fucking negligence.
Yeah.
They went on opinion and not on the
Hmm.
facts.
Yeah. So we are still left with the $1 billion question.
This is
Who killed
crazy.
Barry and Honey? I know.
The not $1 billion question is, why does Ashley sound weird?
Guys, in the middle of this episode, Ashley's family is all in her like little tiny 2-bedroom apartment, and we had to stop halfway through because like her husband and dad are yelling, like drunken, happy yelling at each other, and Ashley's in her bathtub.
I'm in the fucking bathtub. I'm sitting in the bathtub I'm holding my mic
Hmm.
in one
Yeah,
hand. I've got my laptop. This is, for the love of God, somebody tell me you love me because I am in so much pain sitting in this
I did.
tub.
You
Like,
did a great job. I'm actually
thank
super
you.
impressed. Guys, we have tried multiple times today to record this episode,
We're like, we have to
and
get this episode out.
it was looking like it might not happen, and it did.
I'm sorry
So
if it sounds weird. I am sitting
in
in
the tub,
fully clothed in
Ashley's
the
in the
bathtub.
bathtub.
Fuck.
I'm
Um,
dead. Well,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
your story.
You're so very welcome. Although, we all have our theories, we have to assume that everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And I do hope that the Sherman kids have found healing
Yeah, for
in
sure.
whatever way they can. And
It's sad.
yeah, so thank you for listening. And we will see those of you who subscribe to our Patreon on Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on Triggered, where we dive deep into the dark, the twisted, and the cosmic mysteries of the universe.
Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, always watch the stars and your back.